The crypto space has been going absolutely crazy over the past couple of hours. At first, we saw the entirety of the market dip together with the stock market and everybody was crazy bearish. But for some reason, we weren't able to go below 90,000. And even though a lot of shorts were added, a lot of pressure was being put on the downside, there were a lot of positive factors keeping it afloat. Of course, I also made a video explaining why I'm never selling and why dips, in my opinion, are good things. But I'd say that there's a certain individual who perhaps just saved the crypto space from a whole bunch of short-term embarrassment. But instead of making it vague, let me just tell you guys exactly what just happened. So I already told you today has been a pretty wild day. All right, we had BlackRock launching spot Bitcoin ETFs over in Canada. We had BlackRock stating that this whole crypto stuff really just blew everybody's expectations and is already outpacing growth for mobile phones and the internet. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're holding crypto, wow, did this man that you see right in front of you here just oh man. Anyway, so President-elect Trump was at first expected to issue executive orders related to crypto policies on his first day in office. Now, that on its own was a pretty big deal. It got people really excited, but it was mostly the, expected that was kind of keeping people away for a little second. But then all of a sudden, it started to spread everywhere. This news started to spread absolutely everywhere a few hours back, because this is not the first source to put it up. But then quickly after, we saw another statement. And that was, I think, one of the cooler ones. Why? Well, apparently, a U.S. court demanded that the SEC explain themselves for denying Coinbase's request for crypto-specific regulations. If y'all remember, Coinbase basically said, hey, SEC, what are the rules? We want to know exactly what is and what isn't allowed. And since the SEC didn't really want to say, Coinbase sued him. Now, at some point, I guess a U.S. court was also thinking, hey, what in the world really is going on there? Why won't you give them an explanation? And so now a U.S. court has demanded the SEC to explain what the frick crypto is all about. On the one hand, nice. On the one hand, kind of scary because we'd prefer to have this happen under Trump, as we expect the SEC to be in a better spot at that point. But specifically because of the last announcement, President-elect Trump, there's a community note put up here though, but anyway, expected to repeal crypto accounting policy requiring banks holding digital assets to count them as liabilities, the 𝗲𝗂 reports. There's actually another one. I thought I already saved it, but I didn't. And that one is right here. Donald Trump's inauguration will feature tech leaders and a crypto ball honoring him as the first crypto president. Wow. All right. I don't know what else to tell you except for just wow. This is getting crazy. It's getting crazy warm in here, but crazy nonetheless, all right? Donald Trump expected to issue executive order on the first day of his presidency regarding Bitcoin and crypto by the Washington Post. And of course, everybody is talking about this right now because it is a pretty big deal. He might not. Obviously, this whole ordeal is still expected. He might not, but as of this point, I think this is indeed what Trump is going to do. It just makes, in my opinion, way too much sense for him not to. It makes way too much sense for him to just be like, hey, you know what? I'm the crypto president. Business in the USA is going to be booming because of me. 𝗷𝗲𝗲𝗲𝗲. I don't know. I feel like this makes too much sense for it not to happen. And I already made a video about this 2 days ago where I stated, who is selling right now? Who would ever, when the new president of the United States has just kind of called it the crypto revolution of sorts, basically, right? He's going to really make it mainstream. Who would sell before that happens? I don't get it. All right. If you're trying to sell at peak mania, when Trump has put all the bells and whistles out, he said, oh, crypto this, US this, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe it's not Pico top, but hey, I get it. But you're selling before all that happens? Really? And so that's why I had to make a video a few days ago explaining, hey, these are my thoughts. Here's why I think things are going to go so much higher from here. But then today we get announcements of Trump along the lines of what we could have only dreamed of, whatever. And now I'm thinking, man, my targets are way too low, all right? I've got some targets for this crypto space, but I think I got to up them significantly because, man, are they low. If you really start hammering in on it, We didn't really factor into all these price predictions that the freaking world leaders would all come in hot. All right, I mean, we all talked about $1 million, $10 million Bitcoin, all that stuff for the future, right? I still believe it's going to happen not too long from now. I don't think a $10 million Bitcoin is coming in like 5 years. I think it will take more time than that. But the idea still counts, right, of just these higher altitudes of Bitcoin prices. And I keep saying that a lot of this was already basically thought of all the way back when Bitcoin was at hundreds of dollars, for example, right? Or maybe thousands of dollars at max. But now that we're at 100,000 or whatever, I still, if you told me this a while back that we'd be 100,000, I could believe you. But if you then also told me that the US president would be so bullish on it, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗲𝗬𝗬, if I had known that back then, I don't think I would have ever snapped twice, or you know what? How do you call this? I don't know in English. I have no idea what the English word is for opening and closing your eyes. Blink. I wouldn't have blinked twice. I would have put my whole entire net worth in the crypto industry. But I guess the little problem is I already have. I already have almost all my money in this space. Oh, yeah. Two things. One, I noticed a commenter today, and he said, Dusty, why are you talking so negatively about Ethereum? He used way harsher words. I think he gave me a dislike and said some nasty things. But please understand that whenever I say something negative about a crypto, it's because I'm thinking negatively of it. It does not mean I think it's the worst crypto out there in the sense that I wish it the worst. But for example, if we're talking about Ethereum, there's a 99.9% chance that I've got more Ethereum than you do. It's almost guaranteed. And knowing that, even if I talk bad about it, it's not because I want it to do bad. It's because it looks bad in the market right now, or because it's not performed well. And if we're being realistic, it's at 3,000 schmeckles. All right, it went below $3,000 today. Out of my whole portfolio, it's been one of the worst performers this cycle. So, you know what? I don't even have to go into discussion on that one. But also, I saw some comments talking about an altcoin season. We're not there. All right, we're doing a lot of prepping, a lot more than usual. Sure. But right now, whatever we've seen, this ain't the end of the bull market. No. Even if you follow the theory of diminishing returns, which I do believe in, right? Even though I just think kind of the narrative shifts, there's the same amount of returns, but actually more, but relative, obviously, they become lower, meaning, you know, the market has added, for example, the first bull market, 100 billion, the second bull market, it added 1 trillion, and this bull market, it might add, for example, 10 trillion. So relatively it's adding way more. It's not, diminishing in that sense, but ultimately, percentage-wise, it definitely might. Well, not if it's obviously the scale that I just described, but you get what I mean. Because if 10,000 different cryptos get made now, and they all do some gaining, added to the market cap, even though theoretically speaking, the entire market cap of all cryptos might gain by, for example, a 50-fold every single cycle. Bitcoin, for example, might only grow by a 3-fold because all the other coins are now making up for it, right? So theoretically speaking, I'm thinking that Bitcoin dominance should be continuing to go down over time. I guess it also depends on how these major platforms like BlackRock, etc., price it in. How are they going to be looking at altcoins? How much of a push will they be doing for it? I mean, right now we're expecting the XRP ETF to come on next. And again, I will remind you that when things like that happen, can get really stupid. There was even a time in the past where XRP, including all the coins, that is, so every single coin out there, had a higher market cap than Bitcoin had. It's just kind of funny to realize for a second. So from that perspective, and even SolarCoin was above Ethereum at the time. And I don't think I can't remember SolarCoin being there. Maybe it was just a little fad for a short time. Or maybe it was, and this is just really, really discarded from memory. What I believe is just that there were not many coins out there. And this is total market cap, not circulating. But sometimes in the top list, you also have coins that are just kind of like vaporware, meaning they have, for example, 10,000 coins in circulation, but 10 trillion coins in total. So they have a market cap of, 10 trillion, because people kind of misprice it. Or rather, the price is proper, but if you account for the total amount of tokens, then it looks up there. But that's why you never look at total. You look at circulating because that's more relevant. Another debate for a different day, because what exactly is really circulating is the amount that are freely available. But if, for example, BlackRock and Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy buy it up for them to vouch to never let them go. It's kind of like Ripple with their self-imposed vesting. Now, theoretically speaking, those are locked up via smart contract, cannot be sold off. But then I kind of wonder, or moved in that sense, they could still be sold off by IOUs or credit lines of sorts. I kind of wonder how that could work for Bitcoin as well. Theoretically speaking, if these platforms vouch to not move them out of their system, then aren't they by that definition out of circulation since they won't be moving around no more? Even though it's self-imposed, it's kind of like what XRP/Ripple did to those coins. And to some extent, does it matter if it's self-imposed or not? If they're out of the circulation, they're out of the circulation, right? But we don't count it that way. But to some extent, I do believe that platforms that vouch to never move them again, and perhaps even put a lock on it through some sort of smart contract way, or just a lock in a legal way, that those are, theoretically speaking, out of the circulating supply, which could actually be bullish for price if you think about it. But that's a discussion for a different day. I was just thinking about it. Now that Trump is coming in, I just see the beautiful side again. And obviously, crypto prices are also going back up. It's nice to see. I think XRP is also doing well again. Yes, and Bitcoin, our dip that we just bought, has also turned out beautifully. I don't think we bought too much, maybe only $20,000 worth or so. But right now, the position is back in profit because we did so. Virtual still a little bit at a loss. I think I only add another maybe a few $1,000s here at the bottom. But yeah, this is it for right now. XP has fallen a little bit again from 255 to 252, but man, this coin has been amazing. Anyway, if you're also looking for a platform to trade on, check out the link down below to 𝗏𝗏, as right now I'm giving away 2 iPhones over the next about 2 weeks or so. Check it out, link is down below, and that's it for today's little crypto update.